You want to see a powerful healing miracle? A little over 2 months ago, I was laying on an emergency room, operating table, dead, undergoing heart surgery. Okay? That's enough to put a grown man like me down, and it did for a minute. But you know what? When I prayed for the healing, he said, yank those blankets off and get to walking and get out of here. And I will lift you back up and even higher. You are not going anywhere until it is your time. Believe that. This is just one example of the many times I was not close to death, but death. I'm 62 years old, and I was thinking about writing a testimony, but I decided to write a book instead. Because that's what it's going to take. And the testimony of seeing now an old evangelist, I guess I'm an old evangelist, 15 years. But what brought me to that point, to get to that point, when I was a heroin addict, was seeing my reflection in the mud puddle as I was drawing up water in the syringe to do another shot. And that's when I asked to be delivered up. So don't think that the people behind this mic don't have a story. We all have a story. And we all have different gifts. Some are not meant to preach, some are meant to teach, some are meant to heal, some are made to bring in people to the flock so they can be organized into a group. And it only takes 2 people to make a church where Jesus Christ stands with you. So, until I see nobody in here, this is a church. You understand? This is a church. This is our home. Where we live is where we sleep. This is our home that will bring us to our home. As a congregation that comes together, supports each other, chastises each other, talks to each other, and gets out and does the job of building God's kingdom on this earth. And I am not chastising, but I have seen little of that in this church since I've been here 2.5 years. We should have signs out there in the church that says, welcome, come on in. We should have events. We're worried about money. We'll have a church garage sale every week. Take that money and pay the bills. Okay, because we tithe the best we can, but expenses are out of control, not necessarily because of us or because of inflation. Everything's going up. It's more expensive to do everything. So we got to think outside of this box. Lest the box catch on fire. I have tried different things and other people have tried different things. But we need to come together as a group and figure these things out. Not in anger, not out of spitefulness, not out of thinking who's right and who's wrong, but out of necessity to have a place so we can spread the word of Jesus Christ and build the kingdom of God upon this earth. For if we fail as a church to do what a church needs to do, we fail in that mission. And on that, the sermon is about reclamation of the people, reclamation of the land, reclamation of the Spirit of God upon this earth. For in Isaiah 61, verse 4, sometimes it just gets scared and runs. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 4. They will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the places long devastated. They will renew the ruined cities that they have been devastated for generations. How did this promise come about? Because he was telling his people, if you obey, this is what will happen. And God, when he makes a promise, okay, he keeps it. He keeps it sometimes on a time scale that we can't comprehend. There's so many things that we cannot comprehend or even try. It's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If we try, we'll disappear in a puff of logic. You know, and that's the main point of that verse. Do this, and I promise I'll do this. And people try to prove and disprove the Bible. There is no disproving the Bible. Okay, there's a Bible proving the Bible. In Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 24 to 26. For I will take out of the nations. I will gather you from all the countries and bring you back into your own land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. Well, there's about 3 prophecies that come true in those few verses. Sorry. People of God was gathered a long time ago, given their own country. And on Israel, when they struck Israel, my heart was heavy, not for Israel, for their enemies. You do not mess with God's people. It is a losing battle. But his prophecies must come true. Remember that. So, you know, the best way to ignore the mainstream media is not to watch it as little as possible. Because, you know, the leans and stuff. Don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to this. For these dead words on paper to most people will become a living entity inside of you and will show you the truth from the first chapter of Genesis to the last verse of Revelations. It will show you that this is truth beyond all others. It does not need to be proved. It does not need to be debated. It does need to be understood through the Spirit. For without the Spirit, it's just dead words on paper. And so that's what we got to proclaim outside the church. It's not just what you think about God. It's what God is and how you approach Him and the tools to approach Him with. Because people tell me all the time, well, I'm an atheist. That's all right. You don't have to believe in God. You will. Let me tell you something. Satan is right here. This is how close he is. But so is Jesus Christ. He's right here. Satan's trying to get in through every way conceivable. Through what you see, smell, taste, touch. Because he does not have the authority yet to lay a hand upon you. But at the same time, Christ is right here. And he's not just going to come barging in. He has to be invited. And when one is accepted, the other diminishes. And that's what we got to get across to the unsaved. Because the unsaved sees Christianity at this time as something hokey, as something, well, you got to prove this, you got to prove that. It can't be proven. There are things scientifically that can be proven about the Bible, but I cannot sit there. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to cast my pearls among swine that's going to argue about my beliefs. I'm going to lead them to what made me believe. And that is the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. And there are some good things in the news at time to time. Like Oklahoma City, they passed along the legislation to put the Ten Commandments back in the schools. No matter what anybody thinks. Louisiana enacted legislation requiring every public school in the state to display the Ten Commandments. Oklahoma's top education officials ordered public schools Thursday to incorporate the Bible into lessons for grades 5 to 12 because it is a valuable historical document. So, get around that. Of course, my only problem with that, when's the last time you seen the Ten Commandments posted in the church? I've been around a few churches. I ain't seen it too many times. Above all, that's where the Ten Commandments should be. And that's not admonishing, that's just pointing out facts. Because there's nothing complicated about the Ten Commandments. Jesus, he proclaimed it in two verses. Love God your Father with all your heart and treat your brothers like you would have them treat you. Love above all else. That's what the Ten Commandments breaks down to. Why is it so hard? It's like Paul said, I can hold your attention for 15 minutes and I'm good, so I got 5 minutes left. So, Dr. Moody, anybody remember him? Pastor Moody? He wrote a confession one time that I'll never forget. And I proclaimed it here a couple times. But it gives you your marching orders and what we're meant to do. I am a soldier in the army of my God. Jesus Christ is my commanding officer. The Holy Bible is my code of conduct. Faith, prayer, and the Word are my weapons of warfare. I have been taught by the Holy Spirit, trained by experience, and tried by adversity, and tested by fire. I am a volunteer in this army. I am enlisted for eternity. I will either retire in this army at the rapture or die in this army, but I will not get out, sell out, be talked out, or pushed out. I am faithful, reliable, capable, and dependable. If my God needs me, I am there. If He needs me in the Sunday schools to teach the children, walk with the youths, help adults, or just sit and learn, He can use me because I am there. I am a soldier. I am not a baby. I do not need to be pampered, petted, primped up, pumped up, picked up, or pepped up. No one needs to call me, remind me, write me, visit me, entice me, or lure me. I am a soldier, saluting my King, obeying His orders, praising His name, and building His kingdom. I'll do the next half next time I preach. Okay, but is the Spirit getting to you? You know, it's not hard to do what we need to do. We just need to come together. We need to put our differences aside, which, like I stated before, this church don't have many of them. We just need to come together and We don't need to outthink the situation as much as we need to pray about the situation. Okay? We need to get out there and let people know what the church is about. I'm going to have to say it, but at this period of time, it's out with the old, in with the new, because the old has not been working. It's time for new things, new thoughts, new people, new goals. Not that I'm trying to replace y'all. Y'all can't be replaced. I walked in these doors somewhat like 3 years ago. Y'all accepted me, made me feel at home, was nice to me. And said, come back. And so, here I am. And that's what we need to do when we reach out to people, is to let them know that they are cared for. They have somebody to talk to and somebody that wants to listen. Not everybody wants to listen all the time. Okay? But we'll find people who do. That's what it's all about. Because I can't coach somebody when I'm feeling down myself. You know. Prayer works when prayer works. God works when God works. Christ works when Christ works. Not when you want it to work. The hardest thing I've had to do in the last 10 years is wait. But you know what? It's those little things of me being in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing to the right person, that person comes back years later and says, man, what you said changed my life, and I can't even remember what it said. God put me there. At that time, at that place, for that person, for that reason, period. And it's happened over and over and over again. And it's not the big lightning bolts that come down from heaven and says, here's your sign. It's the rose bushes that bloom in the middle of winter telling you that, hey, you just had 2 kids. And that, my friends, I will leave you to your own thoughts.